Alrighty. We're playing Bad End Theater. Let's see how bad we can get. Honestly, I have no idea. I'm assuming it's gonna be a lot of bad endings. Gore, violence, blood. Okay. Gotcha. Settings, music. Let's see what we got. That's all we have. Okay. We don't need anything. Load. Huh. Let's enter it. Welcome to the Bad End Theater. On this stage, we shall be toying with fate. Okay. You will make many choices, unlocking darker and darker paths, all in order to witness a lovely variety of tragic events. But first, allow me to explain how it works. Before you do that, let me save. There we go, just so that's here, I guess. Okay, so let's return. Okay, so how is it gonna work? To begin the tutorial, select whichever doll you like. Okay. Human, demon, human, demon, demon, human. Let's go demon. You control the demon doll, a fierce-looking guy. Just mind your own business. How will you interact with the human doll? I mean, he's fine, I guess. I mean, try to make friends with a human doll, but it kills you in cold blood. How ruthless. Oh, that's unfortunate. You found your very first bad ending, but don't worry, the story need not end here. Let's reset the stage and try again. This time, try controlling the other doll. How about no? Go ahead and try playing as a... No. Can I not, though? Am I just gonna be in a loop? I don't know how intense this is going to be. I'm just trying to see. No, but it looks like I definitely have to play as human. That sucks. Okay. You control the human doll. You're a friendly little guy. Just mind your own business. Let's just play nice again. You know, demon doll about to set aside your differences and become friends. Why? This isn't a bad ending at all. I should have written out this possibility. Just not suited to my theater whatsoever. Now that you know how the story goes, you can set the doll's behavior in advance. Oh, really? As you just saw, these behaviors will automatically be set to what you chose during your last playthrough. Okay. That's very interesting. Okay. But now you can turn each one on or off without having to replay from that doll's perspective. Yes, my theater actually doubles as a puzzle game. Now try turning the doll behaviors on and off to see the different outcomes. Hostile, wicked. Okay. Control the demon doll. You're a fierce-looking guy. Attack. You both attack each other at once and die together. Interesting. Let's not do the rest. Yeah, I understand how to play. Cool. Now, without further ado, let's start the show. I can be the hero, the maiden, an underling, or the overlord. Set behaviors. Okay, I guess the underling. Demon underling. In service of the overlord. You aren't particularly strong, but not particularly weak either. That's what your friends tell you. Your job is to guard the castle and keep humans away. It's unbearably boring. Heroes rarely come all the way here to challenge the overlord anyway. It's a lot of standing in one place, staring into nothing. You feel like you're gonna go crazy if you don't get a break. You decide to ask the Overlord for a day off. She gives you an earful about responsibility and unquestioning obedience. You wait for her to finish her lecture before returning to your post. What does she know about anything? Who made her the boss of everyone? You complain about the Overlord to your friends. They agree that she's kind of a snob and totally deserves to be kicked off her throne. You only wanted to vent your frustrations, but the conversation somehow turned into an assassination plot. Oh. You should probably steer this in a responsible direction. I bet if I do anything, screw it, let's do it. Let's overthrow her. No, you're sick of this Overlord holding you and your friends back. You agree that it's time for a change of management. Your friends suggest maybe you should be the new Overlord. You like the sound of that. You announce your first act of rebellion is to take that day off like you wanted. Your friends aren't very impressed. You assure them you'll talk more about the assassination thing when you get back, which satisfies them. You sneak out of the castle to have some fun. The change of atmosphere excites you. You spend some time rolling around in the grass, wild and free. As you make your way along the path to the nearby human village, you encounter a maiden. She seems very frightened and screams for a hero to come save her. You consider your options. Tell her to quit yelling. When the maiden realizes you're not going to hurt her, she regains her composure. Now she started to like you like your friends or something. You don't understand humans at all. Yeah, no one does. You speak the same language, of course, which has always confused you, because why is there conveniently only one language in the world? Yeah, I know, right? Let's make it all one language. If demons and humans have independent societies, wouldn't it make sense for them to each have their own language? The maiden is going on and on about some kind of destiny she's trying to fulfill. Yeah, it happens. The bottom line, from what you gather, is that she wants you to take her to the Overlord. Sounds like it could be interesting. Besides, you have nothing better to do. Satisfied with your day out, you take the maiden back to the castle and present her to the Overlord. The Overlord asks where you found this maiden, knowing full well that you left the castle when you weren't supposed to. You apologize for disobeying her, but hope that the maiden is interesting enough present that you may be forgiven. The Overlord nods and says everything's cool as long as you always listen to her from now on. You're impressed with what an easygoing boss she is. You mention how you can't believe you and your friends even considered overthrowing her. Uh-oh. She gives you a look and you say, "That was just a joke, of course." She smiles and dismisses you. You decide it's about time for a nap. Yep, I think it is. After a few hours of sleep, you're rudely awakened by the sounds of battle. You emerge from your room to find that a hero has slaughtered many other friends and work associates. What a jerk. I'm gonna save myself. You look around at lifeless forms of those you've known as far back as you can remember. You feel glad to not be in their shoes. You also feel guilty to be thinking that as you flee the castle until you remember your role, not as an underling, but as a demon. This kind of thing is expected of you. Maybe you'll start a new life far away from any humans or demons, where you'll live peacefully alone in some deep dark forest somewhere. Awesome! I deserted them! Yeah! Okay. Reset the stage, maybe? Hungry? We're not gonna do that. I don't know. Let's do Overlord. Let's see what that's all about. You're the Overlord. You live in a castle surrounded by your demon servants. It's a pretty cushy life, you think. Except for those pesky humans who keep killing members of your army. There's even a role called Hero, whose whole purpose in life is just to dethrone you. What's their deal anyway? You've actively avoided pissing off the humans in hopes they'll leave you and your army alone, but they never do. You're still new to the whole Overlord thing. If you're being quite honest with yourself, you don't really understand the politics of it. But you remind yourself, everyone is just doing their best to fulfill their roles. You won't let them bait you into being the evil Overlord they expect. You think you're pretty cool and mature to hold yourself to the higher standard like that. One of your underlings walks into your room, totally interrupting your thoughts about how awesome you are. They're saying something about how boring it is to stand in one place guarding the castle all the time, especially since no one ever comes here anyway. You see their point, but the way they're whining about it kind of bothers you. What to do with this underling? Let's see here. Tell them to get back to work. You give them a lecture about responsibility and unquestioning obedience. Your servants ought to do what they're told, whether they like it or not. They look real unhappy with you, but you're sure they'll thank you for this later. Venturing too far from the castle tends to spell death. You dismiss the underling and lie down in your nice and comfy overlord bed. All that lecturing made you want to take a nap. You fall asleep pretty quick, just another one of your amazing talents as the overlord. You awake to a knock on your door. The underling from earlier brought back some company. You thought you told the underling to do their job, not drag strangers into your room? Looks like they took an unauthorized break away from the castle. You scold them, but ultimately you're a little interested in this guest, so you let them off easy. That underling's not so bad. It's a maiden from the nearby human village. She says her role is to be captured by... Huh? She says her role is to be captured by you. The maiden then goes on to say that she's been getting very impatient, thinking about her impending capture, so she comes here to speed things along. I see. You thought I was going to capture you. Excuse me. You appreciate her honesty, but regret to inform her you never had any plans to capture any humans. She seems very disappointed by this. Perhaps I'm not performing my role well enough. How can I become more maiden-like? You don't really understand the question. You think this world puts way too much focus on destiny and junk? Just go home and stop worrying about it, you tell her. The maiden seems to be having a hard time wrapping her head around this. She insists that she stay and talk to you more. You feel warm inside as she looks into your eyes. This is the first time a human has looked at you without contempt. You wonder what to say. Yeah, let her stay for a while, I guess. You can't bring yourself to send this maiden away. She just got here. You enjoy a nice long chat with her, sharing stories about your kind. She expresses her surprise that demons are not at all what she expected them to be. You are glad that she seems to have an open mind about these kind of things. You also bring up how you always instruct your army to avoid humans, as not to agitate them and get heroes sent out after you. That explains why the people in my village have been left unharmed. It's because of your orders, isn't it? We are very grateful. You're surprised to hear her thank you. You've always thought of humans to be violent and unreasonable. That's why your servants are always getting killed, despite your efforts to leave them alone. But this maiden is different. You joke that maybe you've been lying to her this whole time, and that you are actually super evil all along. The maiden laughs at that, saying she wouldn't mind being held captive here. The people in her village are a little exhausting at times, she says. You can't tell if she's into you or not. You notice the sounds of battle have started ringing through your castle halls. The maiden is getting nervous, but you reassure her it's only her underlings roughhousing, no big deal. You know it's probably a hero, but you don't want to upset the maiden by telling her that. Your army will take care of it. It isn't long before the hero bursts into your room. But he shouldn't have made it here. Why didn't they stop him? The hero just stands there, unsure of himself. He's covered in demon blood. As the maiden speaks to him, trying to explain the situation, you move past the hero and out the door. You're not thinking clearly. Seeing your servants' bodies in pieces all strewn about your castle has really taken it out of you. That hero did this? There's so much blood. Why? Did he come for the maiden? Did he think she needed rescuing? There was no one for this hero to save here. There's never any harm meant to anyone. You were just talking to her. Why has it turned out like this? The hero starts babbling insincere apologies and excuses, realizing his wrongdoing, but you are far beyond hearing that kind of bullshit. You have had it with these humans, always murdering your servants for no reason. You can no longer hold yourself back and lash out at the hero. When you regain control, there's nothing left of the hero. The maiden has fled in terror. Oh. You are alone. Okay. That was an ending. Okay. Let us have, let's just see what the hero's up to. You're the hero. You like to think of yourself as a pretty reliable and swell guy. Your life has been rather ordinary, aside from the occasional heroic adventures, fighting evil monsters and whatnot. You are told a maiden from your village has been kidnapped and is likely being held captive at the nearby demon overlord's castle. Guys, I think we should have just sent that maiden away from us. She was too much trouble. Who even puts a village right next to where an entire demon army hangs out? You don't get it. You're happy to protect the townspeople, though. You weren't born to play this role. You head off on your adventure to rescue the maiden. But demon soldiers block your path. You could kill them to gain experience. I'm just gonna flee like a coward. Forgetting your pride, you escape with your life. But you can't return home now. Your reputation will be ruined. What reputation? I have no reputation. You wonder how you'll ever be able to rescue that maiden all on your own if you can't even fight some lousy demon underlings. You take your chances at the castle. You're a hero after all. This is your job. After a long trek, you make it to the castle's front gates. You're faced with an army of demons that all look very intimidating. There's no way to sneak past these monsters if you want to reach the Overlord. Hey guys, can you, let me in? You go up to the nearest demon and explain why you come here. They stare you down and you feel very uncomfortable. But they seem to trust you and escort you directly to the Overlord's chambers. That was easy. Diplomacy is always an option. Until when it isn't, then you gotta go kill everyone. The Overlord and Maiden seem to be in the middle of some casual conversation when you barge in. You all look at each other in surprise and confusion. This is no time to hesitate. Ask the Maiden what's going on. The Maiden explains that she was never actually captured and that she came here on her volition. That was a pretty dangerous thing of her to do, but no one got hurt, so at least there's that. You ask her to return to town with you to reassure everyone of her safety. The Overlord allows the two of you to leave, and you casually exit the castle. You try to make conversation with the Maiden, but she's been pretty quiet since leaving the Overlord's room. Is she shy? She suddenly stops in her tracks, and you turn your head to ask what the deal is. Oh. The Overlord's castle is engulfed in flames. You can't help but feel relieved you got the Maiden out of there when you did, but... She suddenly takes off towards the burning castle. Panic sets in, and you follow her to try to stop her. The smoke is so thick you've already lost sight of her. What is she thinking? It's too dangerous to continue. You feel hopeless. You stand alone at the castle gates. Your body won't allow you to take another step forward. No, going in there would be suicide. You'll return to the villagers and tell them there was nothing you could do. You were too late. The Maiden was claimed by the demons. Bystander hero end B. There is an end B. Oh. Oh. I see. He's got nothing set. Let's go back to Tyrant. Overlord. Yep. Okay, remember this stuff. Yep. What's their deal? I probably could have fast-forwarded it, maybe. Let's see what happens. Yeah, get back to work. You lousy loose. Oh! Maybe that's why. They, my Tyrant stuff, yeah. Here's a human girl. I don't want that guy to come back, so... Go home. You'd love to have all the conversations in the world with your new friend, but having a human girl here will definitely cause trouble. You put on your mean face and tell her to get lost. The maiden does what she's told and takes her leave. You figure you may as well go back to bed now. But you don't get to rest for very long. Before you know it, everything around you is being engulfed by flames. What's going on? You try to escape, but something's blocking the door. You're having trouble forcing it open. What is this? Someone didn't want you getting out? Are you being usurped? They have zero foresight. What castle will they rule from if this one burns? You don't want to believe that your underlings have betrayed you, but this is no accident. Those ungrateful bastards. You choke on the thick black smoke from the fire. You can't believe you're being done in by a bunch of cowards. You'll see them in hell. Dang, we got burned. Yeah, let's reset the stage. How about we just not be a tyrant? Or antisocial, let's just do that. Can we? Oh. Let's, Let's see what the maiden's got. You are a maiden. You live in a peaceful village next to a spooky demon overlord's castle. You are told that you are fated to be captured by the overlord one day. Because you are a beautiful young girl, demon overlords apparently love capturing those. You think of how you haven't heard of that actually happening to anyone, but maybe the demons just haven't been given the opportunity. Who knows? You are in church. You pray to your god, asking why you have been born into this role of maiden. You respect the divine plan and all, but you're really just curious as to what the point of it is. You are impatient. Meeting a demon actually sounds pretty gosh darn exciting. Maybe you'd understand your role better if you were to just hurry up and get captured already. You leave a note and venture forth to find a demon, just to, you know, see what happens. Hey guys, I'm like bored. Let me go try to get into trouble. Not long into your little adventure, a demon underling appears before you. It looks pretty scary. I'm just gonna introduce myself. You tell the demon your name and explain that you're a maiden from the village. You tell them that you were thinking maybe you could understand your role better if you were to hurry up and get taken away by a demon already. Is that how things are supposed to go? The demon doesn't seem to have really been listening to you, which is a little irritating. I mean, hey, he's being a pretty nice demon. They agree to take you to their master nonetheless. After a long walk to the castle, you're introduced to the Overlord. You explain why you've come, and she squints at you. That is the look of someone who's like, bruh, why are you here? It turns out she never had any plans to capture maidens, or to do anything else that would agitate the humans. You wonder for a moment if she might be lying, but it doesn't really seem like it. Still, this doesn't make any sense to you. You've always been told that demons would one day seek you out, and something awful would happen. Then a hero would come to your rescue. You don't want to believe you've been lied to all along. Maybe it's just that you haven't been maiden-like enough. You ask the Overlord what you should do to be a more suitable maiden, but she doesn't seem to understand. Just go home and stop worrying about destiny so much. She makes it sound so simple. This Overlord seems like the complete opposite of you. You want to learn more about her, and how she thinks. You insist on staying to talk with her more. The Overlord shares many stories about demons with you, and little by little, you realize they might not be the ruthless monsters you were raised to believe. As it turns out, she commanded her demons to avoid towns and villages. She didn't want to risk giving the humans any excuse to send a hero out after them. You realize that must be why you never heard of any demons attacking your town. You express your gratitude to the Overlord on behalf of your village. She says you can thank her by telling the humans to stop raising heroes. She's tired of her servants getting killed off by them. You've always thought demons were violent and unreasonable creatures, but it seems the Overlord could say the same of humans. You may be different, but really they're just trying to live their lives, the same as you. You feel like you're starting to understand things a lot better. But maybe everything I've said was to deceive you and the other humans. What would you do if I turned out to be super evil all along? Even if she were to capture you now, you think this place is far more interesting than the way things are back home. You kind of like not being told to expect demons to come after you all the time. You feel free. Honestly, you've always kept to yourself, but spending time with this Overlord has been very nice. You feel butterflies in your stomach. As you think that, a hero enters the room. You're surprised to see him at first, until you realize he must have been sent to retrieve you. Confused, the hero asks what's going on. You explain the situation, reassuring him that you are never in any danger. The hero expresses relief that this whole misunderstanding hadn't led to any horrible consequences. You apologize for causing trouble, but really, didn't anyone read the note you left? Jeez. The hero asks if you'll return to the village. Blah. The hero asks if you'll return to the village with him to give everyone the news of your safety. The Overlord allows the two of you to leave, and you give her a little wave as you exit the room. You'll be back soon. You're about halfway back to the village when you feel something is off. Unable to shake your concern, you look back over your shoulder. You stop in your tracks. The castle is engulfed in flames. Is the Overlord alright? You can't return to the village like this. You have to know. You have to be sure everyone is safe. You've already taken off before the hero can even think of stopping you. You scan the fleeing demons, but the Overlord isn't among them. Against your better judgment, you rush into the burning castle to find her. You quickly reach for the Overlord's room, but the door is shut tight. The handle is too hot to touch. You're too weak to force it open. You pound your fists against the door helplessly. What were you thinking? This is all because you've forgotten your role. Only a hero could pull this kind of thing off. You start to cough. The smoke is too thick. You can hardly breathe. You realize you haven't got much time left now. You desperately head towards the stairs to save yourself. But the fire spread faster than you expected. You won't make it outside. You can't help but laugh. What a joke. A maiden, saving the Overlord. If you just stay true to your role, things wouldn't have ended like this. This is exactly the kind of punishment you deserve. You let the demon fire cleanse your rotten soul. There's another... Dang, bro. Can't even be selfless, can you? Yeah, let's reset the stage. What happens if I just do all these? That's all she has is polite. Let's put... Let's keep Tyrant on, and let's go back to him. Yep, he's the Demon Lord, yeah. Not Demon Lord, Demon Underling. Oh. She's cool with it. I skipped that. You set out your adventure outside the castle. The change of atmosphere excites you. You spend some time rolling around in the grass, wild and free. As you make your way along the path to the nearby human village, you encounter a maiden. She greets you and says she has a favor to ask. You consider your options. Let me hear you out. You're in a good mood today, and are rather curious about what the maiden has to say. Humans don't usually talk to you, so this is kind of exciting. You hadn't guessed it would even be possible to understand each other before now. The maiden is going on and on about some kind of destiny she's trying to fulfill. The bottom line, from what you gather, is that she wants you to take her to the Overlord. Sounds like it'd be interesting. Besides, you have nothing better to do. Satisfied with your day out, you take the maiden back to the castle and present her to the Overlord. They seem to be getting along just fine, so you decide it's about time for a nap. You don't get to sleep long. Your friends wake you up. Rude. One of them is stepping on you pretty hard. You ask them what their deal is. They say they're planning a whole revolution. They're gonna get rid of the current Overlord and put a new ruler in place. They want to hear if you're in or out. And being a pretty lazy underling, you of course reply with, "That sounds like a lot of trouble. How about we just skip it instead?" Your friends question your loyalty to their cause. She's not so bad, you guys. Your friends seem pretty disappointed. They apologize to you, but before you can ask what they're sorry about, one of them suddenly seizes you. Someone who's still loyal to the Overlord really has no place in our castle, you understand, right? Their claws tighten around your neck. You don't bother to struggle. You're outnumbered. You already know how things like this end. This is a pretty messed up thing to do to a friend, you tell them. They slit your throat in response. Dang, that sucks. Let's see what else we have. She's been pretty fine. Let's go back to this. Yeah, she's cool with it. Let's hear her out. Yeah, we gotta get all this stuff here. Yeah, friends, let's be disloyal. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's kill the Overlord. You tell them you were just joking and clarify that you're totally in it to win it. They say you were always terrible with jokes. Whether or not you actually feel like killing the Overlord, you know how bad it'll be to end up on the wrong side of things. And if this assassination deal doesn't pan out, you can always pretend you were innocent all along. But beneath your shield of faux confidence, you worry about what you're getting yourself dragged into. You follow your friends outside the castle to talk more about the plan. You're curious if they have any idea how they want to go about this. They figure they just lock her in a room and set it on fire. What a stupid plan. That could go wrong in so many ways. You realize your friends are just a bunch of directionless thugs, useless without someone's guidance. Your guidance. There'd probably be casualties if you fought her head on, and while showy deaths make a revolution a heck of a lot more fun, it's probably the wrong way to go. Your friends agree and suggest that you play the assassin. You really didn't want it to come down to this. But you can't back down now. You'll have to be the one to assassinate the Overlord. Besides, no one has any better ideas. You and your friends turn to notice a pair of humans have heard your entire conversation. They take off into the castle. Are they headed to the Overlord's room? Fuck. The Overlord will kill you for sure if she found out you were conspiring to take her out. You dash into the castle after the humans. Sure enough, the maiden's already frantically telling the Overlord everything. You shout that the humans are liars. Your friends soon arrive to back you up, except they don't. Instead, they blamed the whole thing on you. They cried that was all your idea, and that they were just going with the flow, too scared to refuse your crazy plan. You can't believe they'd tell the Overlord such a blatant lie. You always knew better than to trust them. You're the one who didn't have a choice here. You all shout at each other until the Overlord demands silence. Regardless of who led this conspiracy, I have no choice but to punish everyone to keep all you in your place. Crushed beneath my heel. She sounds tough, but lately all she does is sleep. You doubt her strength. You hear your traitorous friends mutter something about going back to Plan A, and suddenly the door slams shut. You're trapped in here with the Overlord and the two humans. And then the room bursts into flames. What? They literally just had that at the press of a button? You pound on the door, screaming curses at those who betrayed you. The hero joins you, vowing to slay the lot of them. You wish he'd get that chance. The Overlord grabs you by the throat. You cry for mercy. You were forced into this mess. You're sure now that they would have killed you if you'd sided with her. But the Overlord doesn't hear your pleas. She drives her claws into your chest. At least she made it quick. Dang. I just can't get away with nothing. She's fine for the moment, maybe. What about you? Let's not do that. What happens if I become hungry? Actually, what happens if he wants Oh, let's say antisocial. Let's see what happens then. Let me just... Let's hear her out. Yeah, let's be disloyal. Yep. We all know what that happens. Bunch of directionist thugs. Yeah, to be the one to assassinate Overlord. Oh. What? Okay, so I just repeated everything. I thought I chose something else, I guess not. Let me see here. She's polite. What happens if I just do, what if I gobble her? Maidens aren't the best meal, but you figure you should live up to your demon name and strike back against the humans. You start... Okay, so this is where the gore comes in. You start devouring the maiden without so much as a second thought, and feel quite proud of that. Other humans would surely praise you with curses if they were around to see. Oh man, if only someone could have been watching. Time to find an audience for your evil deeds. You wander into the nearby village. The people are screaming and running away, throwing rocks at you and whatnot. You think that's pretty rude of them. You haven't even done anything yet. Let's put on a show. You attack the nearest human. He is old and weak, and his bones crunch delightfully. Your audience's screams grow louder. Applause. You think, hey, this is actually pretty fun. I should have taken revenge like this a lot sooner. As you continue your bloodthirsty dance, striking the villagers down, you fail to notice a sword-wielding hero running towards you. He takes you out in one swift blow. You're just a demon underling, after all. As you die, you think, that was totally worth it. Okay, so that was all of that. Let's see here. He's hungry. Just gobble her. Change your mind and leave. Figure if people are this upset at just the sight of you, they won't fully appreciate any terrible acts you'd commit. Also, they might fight back. That probably wouldn't end well. You're just one little underling after all. This little day out has been adequately refreshing. You return to the castle, thinking you'll take a nap. Okay. Okay, so they're gonna do that. Let's kill the Overlord. Yeah. They're gonna set it on fire. What's the plan? That could go wrong. There shouldn't be any humans. I sneak into the Overlord's room. She's taking a nap, like usual. This is almost too easy. You silently approach your master. She looks so peaceful. Oh, I could chicken out. Oh, time to die. You figure the cleanest way to this would be to dig your claws into her throat. So you do just that. She wakes, but not in time to stop you. You watch as she chokes on her blood, cursing you before finally expiring. That felt terrible. You remind yourself it was either her or you, and you weren't about to let yourself get killed by anyone. You leave the room to find your friends waiting just outside. They look pleased. Only now do you realize they must have planned to use you like this from the beginning. You are the new ruler of this castle. Your subjects bow before you. You live in fear that they will one day betray you, as you had betrayed your overlord. Okay, I got Lord Underling. Let's do this, I guess. Coward. Okay. Let's skip them. Gobber. I leave. Chicken out. You don't want to kill her. You can't go through with it. You turn to leave the room, but you find your friends blocking the exit. In a panicked whisper, you ask them to let you out. This seems to have been their way of testing your loyalty. You tell them this is pretty fucked up and ask again to be let out. The Overlord stirs in her bed while your head is turned. The demons shut the door. You scramble into the Overlord's closet to hide before she wakes up and sees you. There's nothing you could possibly say to explain this and survive. You're trembling. You can't believe those assholes will bully you like this. You feel like crying. Light flickers at your feet. It doesn't take too long to realize that they've set the room on fire. You hear the Overlord trying to get the door open to no avail. You're both trapped. Too afraid to move, you resign yourself to your fate. You and the Overlord burn together. Damn. Let us see here. What if she's not polite? Ah! Dang it. Shout for a hero to come save you. You yell, but a hero does not come. Oh. The demon suddenly jumps to you and starts biting a lot. How painful. This plan of yours was completely stupid. You think, why couldn't you have been more patient? Why did you go looking for trouble? You aren't angry or anything. Of course. This was all your fault for trusting a demon not to devour you on sight. This is your punishment for questioning fate, you guess. Bit by bit, you are swallowed by the demon until you are no more. Dang, son. Well, at least we know now. This is what happens when you don't do that. So, she's that polite, all that stuff. What about you? So, if I don't be polite, he's gonna eat. Does that change? Let me see this. Hold on. Be polite. You're made from village, and yep, he does that regardless. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Hungry, disloyal, coward, polite, antisocial. Let's go her route again. Shout for a hero to come save you. No hero comes. The demon is put off by your sudden shouting and asks you to keep it down. You apologize. They seem more confused than hostile, which totally catches you off guard. You tell the demon your name and explain that you're a maiden from the village. You tell them that you were thinking maybe you could understand your role better if you were to hurry up and get taken away by a demon already. He's not listening, so we're taken to the master. After a long walk, you are introduced to the Overlord. Yeah. Interesting, yep. Wanna learn more? Okay. I think we've been through all of this already. Here is, he must have been sent. Okay, yep. That's if we don't have any of this right here. Let's go here again, I guess. Let's start making mayhem. You like to think of yourself as a... yeah. Slaughter the evil creatures. Make quick work of the vile creatures who stood in your way. You feel much stronger now. You're faced with an army of demons that all look very intimidating. Yeah, let's see if I can be let in. Nah, let's just kill them all. Gather your courage. This is what must be done in order to rescue the maiden. These are all evil demons anyway. The world is much safer with them gone. That's what you tell yourself while you kill one after another on your way to the Overlord's chambers. You find the maiden being held captive by the Overlord, just as you suspected. But for some reason, you can't sense anything sinister happening. You all look at each other in surprise and confusion. This is no time to hesitate. Ah, yeah, destroy it, Overlord. You lunge forward, driving your blade through the evil Overlord. She screams, then falls silent. The Overlord has been slain. You smile, offering the maiden your hand. She takes it. After slight hesitation, she must be surprised at how strong you are. You escort the maiden home. She's oddly quiet on the trek back to the village. She must be too shy to speak. The villagers are very pleased with what a good job you've done, slaying the Overlord and saving a hostage. They throw a huge celebration in your name. You are remembered for generations as the greatest hero the village has ever seen. Okay, so we just saved everyone. We're a hero. That was like the best ending right there. What are you guys talking about? Well, let me see here. We're gonna slaughter them. And then we're gonna ask to be let in. They can't help but notice the demon blood from earlier. You haven't had the chance to wash off yet. Whoops. Okay, you fight the army in self-defense. Oh well, more experience points for you. Yep. Ask the maiden what's going on. She explains she came up here on her own and was never in any danger. She hesitantly asks why you're covered in blood. You don't know how to respond. The Overlord moves past you and out the door to see her army in lifeless, bloody piles. She's wailing. It's horrible. This is your chance, hero. Oh, do we do it? Do we do it? Yeah, let's do it. Okay. So some of this does play out the same. So let me do it again. Da-da. We slaughter. Ask to be let in. This is all a big misunderstanding. You hope she'll let this whole thing slide. If you could, just explain yourself. You really try, but the Overlord is inconsolable. She tears you apart, and the maiden watches in silence. As you die, you can't help but think you probably deserve this. And that is how I die. Let's put dutiful, whatever, heroic, and let's do all three. Let's see what happens with the maiden. Shout for a hero to come save you. No hero. His clothes are stained by a dark liquid. It's dripping from his weapon, too. You realize it must be demon blood. Something horrible has happened. The hero suddenly dashes toward the Overlord, sword drawn. Oh! You selflessly throw yourself in front of the hero's blade, acting as a shield. It's funny, you think. You never could have imagined this would be the way that you die. The roles are all switched around, but it feels right to you somehow. You're glad your destiny turned out to be saving someone rather than being saved yourself. As your vision fades, you hope that everything turns out alright for your new friend. Let's reset the stage! Yay! Hero. Let's do nothing. Yep, pierces. Horrible scream, you flinch. The Overlord is slain. The hero smiles and holds out his hand to you, saying it's time to go home. His glove is drenched in blood. Hesitantly, you take his hand. The hero guides you throughout the castle. past the corpses of his enemies. You try to keep your eyes at your feet. There's blood everywhere. You shut your eyes, but even then, you can't escape the smell. All of this was because of you, wasn't it? You exit the castle, and the hero leads you back to the village. Everyone celebrates the hero's great triumph over the demons. You feel sick, but you take part in the festivities regardless. Okay, so there are a lot of... Okay. Interesting. Huh. What happens? What happens if she is a tyrant? You are an underling. Let's see what happens, tyrant. Let's not. You tell your friends you were totally not serious about the whole thing. You're actually cool with the status quo. After all, life must be pretty dang good if the only thing you have to complain about is that you live so comfortably there, there's nothing to do. The others nod, but don't seem convinced. You say a coup d'etat would be more effort than it's worth. But you're still going to rebel and sneak out of the castle. Your friends praise your mischievous ways. Okay, we're wild and free. Tell her to quit yelling. Avenge my fallen comrades. Who does this guy think he is? Coming in here and killing everyone like some maniac. What did we ever do to him? You lunge at him while he's busy driving a sword into the guard, who sometimes brought you food whenever they noticed you were feeling kinda down. You like that guard. You wish with all your demon heart for this hero to suffer for his deeds. You bite into him, tearing flesh from bone. It tastes like iron. The hero struggles. You feel his sword go through you, but there's no pain, only retribution. More of your comrades pile onto him as your consciousness fades. The hero is overtaken. Your army has won. You have earned your rest. Yay, we're victorious. Okay. Let's take dutiful, heroic out. We'll leave diplomatic. Let's have her be polite, I guess. Let's not. Hear her out. Okay. Okay, let's kill the Overlord. Dang, what was it? What if she's antisocial? What if she's not polite? Let's not. Yeah, so it's still not. What happens if... Oh, if he becomes heroic, that's gonna be still problematic. Let's leave those there. Let's see what he does. Yep. I'm not going to... I'm gonna flee like a coward. I'm going to cut through... I don't think there's really any much change. Yep, the world's... Yep. Yep, there's nothing different about that. What other endings does he have? He has 2 more endings. Let's go back here. Nothing's gonna change really about her. I could leave dice to protect the Overlord. Okay, dutiful. Slaughters all demons. Tries to kill the Overlord. I don't. What would happen if we have both of these here? I guess we'll have to find out. Tyrant, she would be okay. Actually, maybe that's what was the reason. Let's not hear her out. Okay, that was not the option. Okay. Let's kill the Overlord. Nope. That was the thing. If we'll leave these two up. I tried to save myself. Nope. I'm trying to think now. She has more options, so does she. Very interesting. What if she's antisocial? Does that change anything? Yeah, hear her out. Save yourself. Nope. Okay. What if... None of that. Let's just make him diplomatic. Yeah, this still comes up regardless. Let's see here. If you're hungry, coward. Regardless, I'm gonna die. It's all in the books. I just need to figure out what do I need to choose. Because if I make her tyrant, let's see here. Her being polite does not matter the slightest, really. And him doing his stuff, I don't want that. Solve. Doesn't go through the assassination. Gets involved in the plot to kill the Overlord. She's like okay with me. So. Quit yelling. How about her being polite? Does that do anything? Nope, it does not. And what if... Tell them to get back to work. She better go home. You don't want to hurt her, but you also really want her to leave in case something bad happens. This whole situation is just asking for trouble, you think. Against your better judgment, you let her hang out for a little while longer. You enjoyed a nice long chat with her, sharing stories about your kind. She expresses her surprise that demons are not at all what she expected them to be. You're glad that she seems to have an open mind about these kind of things. You also bring up how you always instruct your army to avoid humans, as not to agitate them and get heroes sent out after you. It's because of your orders, isn't it? We are grateful. You're surprised to hear her thank you. Yep. Getting killed despite your efforts to leave them alone. The maiden's different. Yeah. You ran right in your doorway. His parents searched for a maiden who was rumored to have been captured by your kind. Captured? Not at all. I only wanted to meet with the Overlord. Didn't anyone read the note I left behind? After everything is explained, the hero expressed his relief that this whole misunderstanding hadn't led to any horrible consequences. The maiden apologizes for causing trouble, and the hero asks her to return to the village with them. Confusing feelings well up inside your heart. You're surprised that you had one of those to begin with. You don't want the hero to take this maiden away from you. Oh. Keep her here. The maiden came here to be captured by you, didn't she? You'll grant her wish. You tell the hero you won't let him take her home. The maiden assures you she'll be back, but you don't budge. The hero is cautious now. If you won't let her go, maybe you demons are evil after all, and if you are, I'll be forced to vanquish you. You have no choice. You destroy the hero before he can steal your maiden away. She's frightened. You don't understand why. Didn't she say she prefers this place to her village? Now she doesn't have to leave. You take a step toward the maiden, and she backs herself into her corner. You don't understand. Something sharp pierces your back. The hero. No, he's already. It's one of your underlings. The maiden screams. Your servant tackles you, tearing you apart with their claws. You struggle to retaliate. They've done too much damage. You can barely move now. Your blood is everywhere. You can't believe this has happened to you. Why has this happened to you? You've been slain by your own underling. Dang. That just happens, doesn't it? I did not mean to get her, but let us see what else there is. Actually, let me go down this route again. Get back to work. Go home. Let them go. You're certain that she'll return to spend more time with you. You just have to trust in that, you decide. With the hero and maiden gone, you plop down into the comfort of your luxurious overlord bed. Your room feels so empty now. Is this loneliness? You hope your new friend will be back soon. You close your eyes for a while. You almost fall asleep when the maiden and hero burst into your room, frantically trying to communicate something to you. You're told that a group of demons is plotting to assassinate you. You're not surprised. How nice of the humans to care, though. One of your underlings barges in next, shouting that the humans are liars. They're followed by another group of demons, crying that everything was that first underling's plan. Everyone is shouting over each other now, and it's very annoying. You yell for all of them to shut their traps. You have no doubt that your servants would let their ambition cloud their judgment and lead them to try to take your throne. Regardless of who led this conspiracy, I have no choice but to punish everyone to keep all in your place, crushed beneath my heel. Saying that made you feel very overlord-like. You aren't sure if you have the strength to back it up, though. Lately, all you do is sleep. The group of demons start muttering something about going back to Plan A and suddenly slam your door shut. You, the maiden, the hero, and one of your underlings are trapped inside. In an instant, the whole room is in flames. The underling pounds on the door, cursing at their friends for betraying them. The hero pounds on the door as well, vowing to slay the cowardly demons on the other side. So this is how you die. Burned alive in your own room by those who thought you could trust. You should have expected this from a bunch of idiot demons, though. You notice the maiden crying. Why does she have to die over something that has nothing to do with her? Perhaps she was cursed from the moment she spoke to you. You wonder if you're cursed as well. You're so filled with anger and frustration you don't even notice that you've grabbed the underling those traitors blamed everything on. They cry for mercy, saying that they were dragged into this plot knowing they'd be killed if they took your side. They cry that they didn't want to have to kill you. You almost feel sorry for them. Forgive him? Retribution? Let's take retribution. You pierce their chest with their claws. They scream. The hero backs away. He is wise not to interfere. They've stopped moving, but you keep digging and twisting your claws into them. It doesn't make you feel any better. The underling's corpse burns along with you and the two humans. Spiteful. Let's reset. Okay. Let's go back to this. Tell them to get back to work. Go home. Let them go. Forgive them. You release the underling. Killing them wouldn't make you feel any better. Besides, they're already gotten their punishment. You'll all burn together. Overlord's true ending. Before you've taken back to reset the story once again, you pause for a moment. True end, you say to yourself. What was the point of all my effort if the true ending is this terrible? You must have forgotten where you were. This is bad in theater. Is the pain setting in? Oh, but you should have been well aware of what you'd be shown when you entered this place. It's a problem I've seen quite often. At some point, you grew attached to my little cast. You started to relate to their flaws, their plights. You started wishing for their happiness. But you aren't going to find that in my theater. My lovingly crafted labyrinth of suffering. Anyway, I hope you'll pardon the interruption. You're making great progress. The choice to continue on to the next ending is always yours. I'll leave you to it, dear guest. Oh, there is more. Okay. So let me go back to him then. Underling. Let's not hear her out. Let's kill the Overlord. She spares me, or maybe she'd rather see you suffer instead. Look around. You're just gone from one dead end to another. The maiden's crying, the hero's silent. You'll all burn together. And we got a true end for the Underling. No matter the perspective, the true ending remains the same. That's what makes it true. You couldn't resist seeing it for yourself, though, could you? I wonder what will happen when you collect them all. Will you give in to despair? Or... Interesting, interesting. Oh! Oh! Very interesting. This is a nice little map they gave us. Polite. So yeah, regardless, we come to the same conclusion. Interesting. That's very nice. So what, we set it to possessive? And we got the true end. So we already got the true end. Let us see the possessive one, I guess. She's possessive. And he's diplomatic. Let us see, I guess. Let's overthrow her. Hear her out. Let's kill the Overlord. You sneak up to the Overlord's room, but there's a couple of humans in there. You watch the scene unfold. You aren't sure why, but the Overlord suddenly cuts down the hero. She approaches the maiden you brought to her earlier. With the Overlord distracted, you figure this is as good a chance as any. You launch a sneak attack, getting her right in the back. She flinches, giving you enough advantage to take her down. You rip the Overlord apart until she stops moving. That was messier than you would have liked. The maiden mutters something from the corner. That thank you for saving me. It wasn't your intention, but it sounds like you did something heroic. You tell the maiden to go home. This place is dangerous. She follows your advice and leaves the castle. Your castle. You are the new Overlord. Heroic Underling end. A letter flutters down from beyond the curtain. You found lost letter number 3. Lost letter number 3. My love, I've been feeling a little depressed lately. Many patrons have come to my theater, but none so far have stayed to experience every tale in its entirety. The critics haven't exactly been kind, but I understand. My stories aren't exactly crowd pleasers. Despite that, you always listen to the very end. I'm grateful for that. Hope to see you again soon. Forever yours, Tragedy. Sweet, so we got everything, I guess. Huh. So I take it this is her default route. The maiden's default, probably. And there is a bad end here as well. That requires something from the maiden. Interesting, interesting. There's also a faithful performer. Yeah, so we did that already. Trying to say a castle. Yep. Deserter, victorious. Let's see what we have to get. Okay, this is a lot of sense. Okay, now that we have a plan, which I'm grateful for the developers, that's very nice of them, I am going to stop right here. This has been Bad in Theater, and I'm sure by the end of this, we're just going to have a bad end. But not today. Today was a good day. This is a good end. So, I will sign off, leave, whatever have you, and y'all can have hopefully a good end today. Peace.